You don't move this many pieces unless you're preparing for checkmate. Satellite imagery, encrypted briefings, missiles on the rails. North Korea's nuclear doctrine is shifting. Several critical indicators suggest Pyongyang is preparing for the unthinkable, the integration of nuclear weapons into its warfighting playbook. Let's break it down. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at North Korea's nuclear doctrine shift. Let's go ahead and get this deep dive going. So this isn't something that we're seeing through public declarations, but it's through the analysis of satellite imagery and the intelligence reporting. Our assessment has identified 7 key indicators that suggest North Korea is adjusting its strategic posture towards the potential use of nuclear weapons. These indicators represent critical thresholds in an escalation sequence that may be underway. Individually, these events could be dismissed as provocations. Collectively, they form a coherent pattern of strategic intent, a deliberate advance towards a capability that has been the subject of international containment effort for decades. This brief will deconstruct each indicator, presenting the evidence and its implications within the calculus of nuclear deterrence, from its nuclear test sites to its state-sponsored cyber operations. Indicator 1 is a fundamental shift in North Korea's declared nuclear doctrine. So for years, Pyongyang's official posture framed its nuclear arsenal as a defensive deterrent. This posture has changed. In September 2022, North Korea passed a new legislation that codifies its doctrine of preemptive nuclear use. The stated conditions for a first strike are deliberately ambiguous, including an attack on the state leadership, its nuclear command and control, or even the perception of an imminent threat. In a subsequent speech, Kim Jong Un declared the country's status as a nuclear weapons state irreversible, signaling an end to the denuclearization negotiations. This is not just a rhetoric. It's a legal and strategic framework that lowers the threshold for the use of nuclear weapons. The law also stipulates that if the leadership's command and control system is compromised, a nuclear strike will be launched automatically and immediately according to the pre-delegated plan. This is a direct response to the U.S. and South Korean military exercises simulating decapitation strikes. The strategic messaging from Pyongyang is clear. Eliminating the leadership will not prevent retaliation. It will only trigger it. Doctrinal shifts is supported by operational actions. Indicator 2 is the unprecedented tempo and increasing sophistication of North Korea's missile testing program. In recent years, Pyongyang has conducted a record number of launches, operationalizing a new generation of weapon systems. The focus is on qualitative, not just quantitative improvements. We have observed tests of solid fuel intercontinental ballistic missiles, or ICBMs. Unlike liquid fuel predecessors requiring hours of preparation, these systems offer high mobility and a rapid launch capability, complicating detection and preemption. Tests have also included hypersonic glide vehicles designed for high-speed maneuvering flight profiles to penetrate existing missile defense architectures. The regime has also conducted drills simulating nuclear counterattacks, launching multiple short-range ballistic missiles in coordinated salvos. These are clear simulations of a saturation attack designed to overwhelm enemy defenses. It's the same we've seen with Russia attacks on Ukraine, as well as Iran's attack on Israel. As recent as May 2025, Kim Jong Un personally supervised a test series from Wosan. Each test, regardless of outcome, provides critical telemetry and operational data to refine systems for a single purpose, delivering a nuclear warhead to its designated target. Indicator 3 is based on direct observation of North Korea's nuclear infrastructure. High-resolution satellite imagery provides a direct view into the regime's most sensitive facilities. After a period of relative dormancy, sites like Yongbyon Nuclear Scientific Research Center and other facilities suspected of uranium enrichment show a high level of activity. Recent imagery has confirmed major new construction at the Kangson facility, a suspected site for producing enriched uranium, which is a key fissile material for nuclear warheads. Analysts indicate that a new annex completed in mid-2024 could significantly increase production capacity. Similar construction has been observed at the Yongbyon complex, where a new building has been erected, potentially expanding the site's capacity for highly enriched uranium production. This infrastructure development, often shielded from direct observation, points to the regime actively increasing its production capacity for both fissile materials and missile systems required for their delivery. Indicator 4 is the cessation of diplomatic engagement. By mid-2025, North Korea has effectively terminated diplomatic channels. Kim Yo-jong, the sister of Kim Jong Un, a senior figure in the regime, has designated relations with South Korea as those between two hostile states, stating that Pyongyang has no interest in talks. She dismissed the prospect of dialogue, saying there's nothing to discuss and no reason to sit face to face. This represents a fundamental policy shift, not a tactical negotiation position. Pyongyang now demands that any future engagement must be with its acceptance as a nuclear-armed state, an unacceptable precondition for the U.S. and its allies. Kim Yo-jong has warned that the framework of 2018 and 2019 summits is now considered obsolete. The severing of communication lines and the official designation of South Korea as the #1 enemy indicate that the regime now calculates greater strategic benefit from confrontation rather than from dialogue. Sustaining a nuclear program under a comprehensive sanctions regime requires significant funding. Indicator 5 details the regime's primary funding mechanism, a sophisticated state-directed cybercrime enterprise. A United Nations report estimated that North Korea operatives stole approximately $3 billion between 2017 and 2023. These are not independent actors, they're state-sponsored operatives attached to Pyongyang's intelligence services, targeting cryptocurrency exchanges, financial institutions, and defense firms. A UN panel assesses that up to 40% of this revenue is funneled into the WMD program. A 2024 surge in insider threats was also noted, where North Korean agents infiltrate companies by posing as remote IT contractors. The cyber campaign serves a dual purpose. It generates revenue for weapons development and functions as a form of asymmetric warfare, enabling intelligence collection and probing for vulnerabilities in an adversary critical infrastructure. Indicator 6 is a deepening strategic partnership between North Korea and Russia. What began as a material support for the war in Ukraine has evolved into a comprehensive strategic partnership codified by a mutual defense treaty signed in June 2024. Kim Jong Un described it as the strongest treaty in history. This development is strategically significant. In exchange for conventional munitions and ballistic missiles, North Korea is likely receiving critical resources and potentially transfers of advanced Russian military technology. Such transfers could accelerate Pyongyang's progress on ICBM guidance systems, satellite development for improved targeting, and its nuclear submarine program. This alliance provides North Korea with political and military backing from a permanent member of the UN Security Council. This partnership, turned a fiery relationship by Kim, reduces the regime's isolation and provides the political cover to accelerate its weapons programs more aggressively. And the final indicator, often overlooked, concerns domestic preparations within North Korea. The regime has been conditioning its domestic population for a potential conflict. In late 2024, authorities conducted notable, intense 20-day military exercises for the Worker Peasant Red Guards, which is the state civilian militia. These drills were officially justified by the political situation on the Korean Peninsula, which is becoming more unstable by the day. For the first time, drone operations were integrated into these civil defense exercises, following a directive from Kim Jong Un to prepare all military and reserve personnel in use for modern unmanned aircraft. These actions, coupled with reciprocal civil defense drills in South Korea, indicate a heightened state of alert on the peninsula. While some domestic drills may serve a propaganda purpose, their increasing intensity and modernization suggests the regime is taking tangible steps to improve its civil defense, posture in major conflict. A conflict it may be preparing to initiate. In isolation, any one of these indicators can be interpreted as a standard provocation. Viewed in aggregate, however, a coherent and concerning pattern emerges. We observe a revised doctrine authorizing preemptive use, a sustained campaign of missile tests to validate new delivery systems, the expansion of fissile material production sites, the deliberate closure of diplomatic channels, a global cybercrime operation for funding, a new strategic alliance with a nuclear power, and preparations to harden the domestic population for war. This escalation sequence is not public, but the indicators are ambiguous. So what's your assessment on this escalation? Do you view these indicators as genuine prelude to a conflict or as a form of high-stakes corrosive diplomacy? Share your analysis in the comments. For more in-depth reporting on geopolitics and global security, subscribe, like, enable those notifications. Thank you for your attention. Sigma Actual out.